jail-free card. Like, no one bothers me, no one presses me during sober jam. Also, after doing some research and seeing a lot of information about this online, I saw that 3 months is a good marker for your dopamine levels to fully reset.
Alcohol is in every situation, in every social interaction, in every family party, at every event. You have to understand, like, you have to get this through your brain, is that altering your neurochemistry through a drug like alcohol has major consequences.
I specifically wanted to wear a soccer jersey from my favorite team for this video because it has a beer sponsor on it. Because we're going to be talking about alcohol and quitting alcohol and how it's affecting the alcohol industry today, with sales going down because not just the young who are rejecting alcohol, it's also people waking up because they're becoming more health conscious and more conscious of their spending habits. Now, while I do love the logo right here, I think it actually looks really nice with the Liverpool jersey, I have cut down on drinking. In fact, I don't really drink any beer much anymore. I still occasionally partake in wine, and I might have a beer in the summer on a nice hot day. But the days of me having multiple drinks a day at home for no reason, going out, spending ridiculous amounts of money at bars is over. I'm calling an end to it. And if you are too, leave your thoughts about it down below in the comment section. So we have quite a few videos to react to today. And before I jump into things here, I want to also let you know that about 60 to 70% of you who come back to the channel and watch more content are not yet subscribed. So if you find yourself coming back to the channel and watching more and enjoying it, hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's dive into it.
Really fucking respect people who quit drinking alcohol. And let me tell you why. Alcohol is the drug that they give to the masses to keep them numb and disconnected from themselves and from their environment. Drinking alcohol is really easy. It's the easy button. And the reason it's so easy is because, number one, it's super accessible. And number two, you can basically pay $5 or $10 and you can go to the store and you can hack your neurochemistry and basically drink your way to reward and euphoria.
There's a reason why alcohol is so accessible. One is because it numbs people. They want the masses numb and complacent, and they also want them to spend a lot of their money so they don't have a lot of money to invest and build themselves up. Pretty obvious.
And it's no question. You just look at our society. You look at every single person in their teens, their 20s, 30s, oftentimes going into their 40s and 50s, and you see how prevalent alcohol is in every situation, in every social interaction, in every family party, at every event. You have to understand, like, you have to get this through your brain, is that altering your neurochemistry through a drug like alcohol has major consequences. You feel hungover the next day, you feel anxiety, you feel anxious, you start to feel depressed. And what happens is that dopamine is such a sensitive neurotransmitter. It is not designed to be tapped and fucked with the way we tap and fuck with it in our society today. And it is so sensitive that when you begin consuming alcohol consistently, what it does is it creates a self-reinforcing behavior loop. And because dopamine is tied to reward and motivation. And so let's just think about it, man. Like, as human beings, motivation and reward is tied to our evolution. It is tied to every aspect of our growth, whether it's financially, within our relationships, within our health, within our career, within anything. Reward and motivation is at the core of all of human experience. And alcohol, you can drink reward and motivation for $2, for $3, for $5, for $10. And there's nothing in life and reality that produces such an abnormal amount of reward and motivation the way that alcohol does. Because alcohol is a drug like heroin or cocaine or Xanax. It's a compound that alters your neurochemistry. It's no different. And it's really hard for people to accept that because it's so widely woven into the fabric of our culture. And via cognitive biases, people just assume that the CDC or the medical community or people smarter than them must have done the research and approved alcohol, so it's okay. So, dude, quitting drinking and no longer getting that flood of dopamine, it's not that easy, man. And this is why people who typically get sober and quit drinking ultimately become very, very successful in life. because you are now forced to evolve and level up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
And that's what's so dangerous about alcohol, is the fact that it hijacks your dopamine system, basically leaving you in a state of mediocrity to a certain extent, right? Like, you're not going to strive for a lot in your life if you're so dependent on just a dopamine rush from drinking every day, right? Like, if you come home from work every day and you want to like pop a six-pack of beer just to raise those dopamine levels, do you think you're going to strive more at work the next day? Do you think you're going to go far in your career? Probably not.
It's been 1 week since I have stopped drinking alcohol. So I had several reasons to take a break from drinking alcohol. And honestly, the first one was my health. Second being, I don't like feeling like shit when I wake up. Third, I was just really puffy, and no matter, like, I really wasn't eating a lot, and I was just continuously gaining weight because there's so many calories in alcohol. And while, yes, I was drinking vodka and water, I was also drinking vodka and seltzers. So that's like 170 calories per drink. You know what I'm saying? It adds up. But mostly, number one reason was for my health. So a week ago, I stopped drinking, and I just wanted to share a couple of things that I've already noticed. Number one is I'm sleeping better. That's not to say I'm falling asleep easier, but once I am asleep,
Yeah, your quality of sleep rises substantially if you don't drink alcohol. It really gives you the worst sleep possible, especially if you drink too much. Like, if you have more than just a drink or two, and you have like 6 beers or something like that, you're not really catching good REM sleep.
Sleeping more soundly. Two is the obvious. I don't feel like shit when I wake up. I'm up, I'm ready to go, I'm not in a bad mood. Not being in a bad mood, I notice that I am way less irritable 99% of the time. Anxiety, way fucking down. Depression, intrusive thoughts, haven't really noticed any, like, all week. I'm actually working out every day consistently. I'm drinking way more water, which is crazy because I already drink an insane amount of water. What else? My skin. Dude, my skin already looks so much like I'm wearing makeup, but no beauty filter. Like, the puffy eyes, the crazy puffy eyelids, like, everything has depuffed. I'm less bloated, less inflamed. I have less pain. Like, alcohol is an inflammatory. So, yeah. I do have to say I had no withdrawals. Like, I wasn't shaky. I wasn't night sweating. I didn't get nauseous. I didn't do any of that. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'm just lucky, because I was drinking basically every day, and I was drinking to get drunk. I wasn't like blackout wasted, but I was inebriated. You know what I'm saying? I do have cravings. I noticed that they really, really hit about 4 o'clock, between 5 and 7. I have found that I have to be doing some kind of project that keeps my mind very occupied. I started doing these little book nooks that my nanny got me, and I'm literally on my 4th one. I have 3 more coming in the mail, and I'm a little scared because the next 2 days are supposed to be snow days in Florida, and I don't have any book nooks. So I got to find like something to do to keep me busy. But yeah, so that's like a big thing. And full disclosure, I'm a bartender. Okay. So the last week I worked, so let me buy you a shot. Let me buy you a drink. Let me buy you a shot. Let me buy you a drink. No, thank you. I'm good. You know, dry January. We're good. After work, coworkers, hey, let's have a drink. You know, let's take a shot. I'm good. Dry January.
The amount of self-control she must have to be a bartender and to give up on drinking with it constantly being around you is very impressive.
And they're like, okay, no, like, nobody's pressuring me into it, but they're offering. And I'm like, no, I'm good. So I've got to get through that every time I work, which is just, you know, shows that I have more willpower. So that's awesome. But I'm definitely trying to get to the end of January, of course. And I'd really like to push it to March, maybe May, June area, because again, bringing it back to health, I'm trying to consistently work out, like get back into my workout and eating clean routine, because that's the happiest I ever was in my life, was when I was eating clean and working out consistently. And I was drinking socially, but it wasn't every day. So my man and I talked. He's also not drinking to support me because, you know, he just doesn't feel like it would be fair for him to drink at home in front of me. Very good man. So we decided that whenever I do feel comfortable drinking again, if ever, that we're only going to do it on the weekends, not weekdays, which you would think is self-explanatory, but whatever. But yeah, it's going really good. It's worth it, and it's not as hard as you think it would be. You just have to do it. I downloaded this app called I Am Sober, and it tells you how many calories you've saved, how much money you've saved, you know, how long it's been since you've had your last drink. You can make pledges. There's a whole community you can talk to. It's free. And whenever you download the app, it asks you reasons of why you want to stop drinking. And every time you open it, you see those reasons. So it kind of like reiterates why you made the decision to, you know, stop drinking. So I hope this helps someone, because I kept seeing all these videos on TikTok about all the wonderful things that happen when I stopped drinking. And I was just like, man, because I wasn't ready. But you have to be ready to quit drinking. You can't just, it's not going to work if you're not ready. So if you're ready, you can do it. I have faith in you. If I can do it, you can.
I'm just still really impressed with the fact that she is that committed, but while also being a bartender, like being around alcohol all the time, you must have incredible willpower to just get through that. So my praises to her. Geez, that's just incredible.
On 100 days without drinking any alcohol, and I want to share my experience because these videos were really helpful for me when I was in a rut and needed some motivation to keep going. Also, this would just be like a nice digital diary for me to have to remind myself of the benefits I experienced. For a little bit of background, I've done Sober January for the last 5 years. I absolutely love doing Sober January. It kind of feels like a get out.
So I've heard of that before, but in Canada, we do something called Sober October, I guess because it rhymes, but I guess that would mean you'd miss out on Halloween if you're going to a party. Well, you wouldn't really miss out, you just wouldn't be drinking there.
A jail-free card. Like, no one bothers me, no one presses me during Sober Jan. Also, after doing some research and seeing a lot of information about this online, I saw that 3 months is a good marker for your dopamine levels to fully reset and your body can kind of go back to homeostasis. So you're fully operating on like your natural chemicals without any impact from alcohol usage. So that's another reason I decided to do 3 months. Why not make it 100 days? One of the first benefits I experienced was an overall mood increase. I'm not talking like wake up every day, happy-go-lucky, chipper, skipping down the sidewalk. No, I'm talking waking up over the last 100 days with a sense of optimism. I just feel good about the day, excited to take on the day, just a better mood in general, which has resulted in better human interactions. Primarily my interactions with strangers on the street, at the grocery, on the bus, a barista, in the elevator. I think I just showed up more present and more like excited to kind of have a positive experience with a stranger. And I realized more people than I thought were also excited to have that. And that just made me really happy. So just like an overall increase in mood, better human interactions, which I think we could all use more of in this world with the age of technology where our heads are always in our phones. So that was extremely rewarding, and I have to call that out first because I just feel like I can see the world and other people a little bit brighter because I guess I'm showing up a little bit brighter myself. Another benefit that I want to call out, just how much longer weeks are for me. You just really underestimate how much time you spend planning to have a drink or like feeling the effects of the drink. Maybe it's not like a raging hangover, but just like knowing that I won't have to deal with any of that and I can fully like plan things and know I will show up and I will enjoy myself because that element won't even be a factor. I'm very social and I have a lot of hobbies and I like to travel. But I feel like I'm even more eager to go see over the last 100 days, which is just...
That's true. Alcohol really does kind of fill in those gaps of supposed boredom, right? Like when you would put that time into something else, you don't really think of that. You kind of think of it like this is the time that I'm going to use to kind of relax and unwind and have a beer, but instead you can actually use that time to your advantage and explore things that you love more.
It's been really wonderful because we don't know how much time we have left on this earth, and to really know that I'm fully showing up present and I'm going to make plans and I will be there and I can count on myself and I'll show up in the 100%. That's just really nice. Another kind of obvious benefit is just I'm healthier. I have a heart condition and obviously alcohol does not help that, and not getting as much sleep when you do drink or as much good quality sleep when you drink so impacts how your heart functions, and my heart is literally healthier. I haven't gone into episodes. I feel better. I sleep better. I can stick to my routine. Like, I have a pretty consistent workout routine, but it's even more consistent, and I can even double down and like get those 10K steps in and get the weight training class in. Like, my routine is more consistent. There's just so much more forward momentum in my life, not even just when it comes to health, and that's really nice. Obviously, I gotta touch on some of the more vanity benefits, but yeah, better skin, clear skin, whiter eyes, slimmer, less bloated. Gotta call that out, but that's not even on the list of like top 10 reasons that I wanted to do this, so I'm not even gonna stay there long. Another benefit I'll call out that's kind of odd to explain, but I feel more quick-witted and clear-minded and more intelligent when I speak. And I'm not even just talking about more of the high stakes conversations like with people at work, which that is also extremely, extremely nice. But even just everyday interactions, kind of like I mentioned with strangers, or with friends, or with my family, or just anyone that I'm talking to, someone in like a similar industry, I can really engage with people and find the words and portray what I'm trying to say. And then also ask the right questions and really like engage and meet people where they are. And yeah, I just feel like conversations are a lot more fruitful. I just feel more intelligent, more quick-witted, and just like overall smarter. Another benefit I want to call out, more people are on this journey or completely alcohol-free than you think. Obviously, you know, I've listened to tons of podcasts. I've read some really good books. I've done the work to try to really understand like kind of the culture and like how alcohol came to be so prevalent in our society, but it's so much more common and respected and cool than I feel like I thought it was, honestly. I've just met so many people, and I've even made some friends that have been nervous to think like, oh gosh, now we're gonna have to like go get drinks or go to dinner, and I'm gonna not drink because I'm not gonna break for someone I don't know. But like, what if it's someone I want to be friends with, but like but then they're like, oh no, I don't drink. I could literally count on my hand how many times I've drank in the last year. Even people on planes I've met and we've had discussions. I've been on like a trip in Cabo and I met a couple and they're telling me about they're just.
And a lot of these people are young people as well. Gen Z is like really rejecting the alcohol industry to the point where there's bars now that you can go that are just non-alcoholic drinks. I'm not even making this up. You can research it yourself. They're popping up in major cities because it's a place for Gen Zs to go hang out. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be relief from your wallet. It's probably still going to be expensive, but at least you're not going to be addicted and then obviously feeling a horrible hangover the next day that you would feel if you were drinking alcohol instead at this place.
There's so many more people out there that aren't drinking or not drinking as much or have like different stories or reasons, and it's just very reassuring and good to know. So you are not alone in this journey. There are so many people that are in the same boat or like want to be in the same boat or are gonna be inspired if you are doing this. So know that. And then for two of the negatives that I have about this journey, one is I was so concerned about what other people thought of me that I don't even think they were fully portraying any negative feelings, but I was just worried and like overthinking what they were feeling towards me. And I'm not talking about random people. Like obviously other random people are gonna have thoughts and like you just can't care about that, but some of my close friends, I was worried and maybe they did feel a type of way and I was kind of receiving some of that, or I totally made it up in my head. Who knows, who cares? I'm too old to be doing that, like especially if it's something that is gonna benefit me and I'm working to like better myself, which will then just reverberate onto other people and friendships. Like I just really had to sit with that feeling and be like, I just can't care what other people think, and if you're supposed to be in my life and if you care about me, like you will roll with this and you'll like be proud of me. I don't know, this is a hard thing to do. Like I said, like our world is so alcohol centric and focused on alcohol culture, it just is. And to do this in that world and still enjoy yourself and still be social and to still make friends and have hobbies and travel and do the things, like what a freaking superpower. So I just had to kind of let that go. The other con or negative I want to bring up is the first like 15 minutes when you're out with a group of people and they get their drinks, it kind of hits you like, oh shit, I'm really doing this. Like I'm not drinking. Like, damn, you got to stand on business. That is a little bit uncomfortable, but there are so many NA options, which is just so wonderful. And every freaking restaurant should do this. I think I'm fortunate because I live in Chicago, Illinois. So obviously there's, you know, a lot of people here. The NA culture is very big. NA means non-alcoholic. And it's just more acknowledged and like respected. So I just didn't have problems. A lot of people too, when I said I did 100 days, they were like, no, but I saw you drinking this day and this.
Yeah, the great thing about that as well is if you're going out and you feel like having a drink or two with dinner, you're pretty much only going to have one drink if it's going to be non-alcoholic, you know, because at the end of the day, one of the reasons why places provide drinks, like alcoholic drinks, is because they know that there's an addictive quality to them that tends to get the person to drink more than one, which adds to the bill, which also adds to the tip. Anyways, guys, leave your thoughts about this down below in the comment section, guys. Are you rejecting alcohol? Leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.